Fate Grand Order, a highly successful mobile game made by Delight Works, which serves as an alternate timeline in the Fate universe. The story follows a mage, Ritsuka Fujimaru, who has become a master candidate within Chaldea, a research facility that manages the preservation of humanity by sending a mage's physical body through time, also known as ray shifting. Soon after arriving at Chaldea, a calamity occurred, killing most of the staff and all other master candidates except Fujimaru. Being the last acceptable master, Fujimaru is tasked to go to 7 points in time that will cause the extinction of humanity if left untouched. This anime is based on the 8th story arc, Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia, which sends Fujimaru and his servant Mash to mid-2600 BC to solve the singularity and stop the extinction of humanity. Coming from someone who has played the game, it is clear that the adaptation is geared to those that have played it, due to the many flashbacks that refer to previous arcs. However, I believe it would be possible to enjoy Babylonia without the game, you just don't get the full experience. For this review, I will be playing both sides, for those that have and have not played the game, as I feel that this can greatly change the opinion of the story, but I will be going under the circumstance that you have seen Fate Stay Night, which is an absolute must. In this singularity, arriving in ancient Mesopotamia, Fujimaru and Mash come across the last line of defense for humanity, the city of Uruk, led by none other than King Gilgamesh. With constant attacks by a force known as the Three Goddess Alliance, Fujimaru joins up with Gilgamesh and other servants at Uruk to tackle this threat and finally stop the incineration of humanity. The variety of strong, well-written characters is a huge strong point for the series. For one, the characters themselves are amazing and very likable, but some characters like Fujimaru and Mash don't have development due to this anime essentially being in the middle of the story, and with them having their development early on, you don't get to see how they changed, but just get the result. One of the most compelling elements to this arc is the character Gilgamesh. Known in Fate Stay Night for being the arrogant asshole, we get to see a side to him we never got to see before. His more caring side, showing that behind everything, he still cares for the prosperity of humanity. The reason he was hard on the people during Fate Stay Night and Fate Zero was because he wanted to see humanity advance as a species, and you see a whole lot about this side of Gilgamesh throughout. Aside from Gilgamesh, there are still many great characters, my favorite being Merlin. His carefree but serious nature is what makes any time he's on screen entertaining. Jaguar Warrior is another personal favorite, being a nice nod to a special ending of Fate Stay Night, is one of the better comedy relief characters, making all scenes she's in hilarious, while still having many badass moments as well. Not to forget Enkidu, Ushiwakimaru, Benkei, and so much more. All the characters are great in their own right and have many of their own traits, with each character having their own struggles and objectives to complete, which the story fully covers and completes their individual character arc. It's just a matter of preference on who will be your favorite. The soundtrack is pretty similar to the game, with some tracks that have been altered to fit in with the anime. There are a variety of tracks that does its job well, but does not go beyond that, except for two standout tracks, such as the heart-pounding Grand Battle theme playing near the finale of the Singularity, and one sentimental theme called Bonds, that plays during some of the more solemn moments. On the topic of music, the opening song Phantom Joke was enjoyable and unique. Having two openings with one playing the first half of the song and the second opening playing the second half is something I appreciate and would personally like to see more anime series do. The first ending, Hoshiga Furuyume, was pretty decent, having callbacks to the previous singularities, but the second ending, The Prover, is now one of my favorite endings. The slow beginning that builds up to a climax fits perfectly with the tone of the second half of the show, with lyrics that tell Gilgamesh's feelings towards humanity. Definitely worth a listen. The animation for this anime is phenomenal, which is especially apparent in these several action scenes. Almost every episode has at least one big fight with fluid movement and great choreography. Everything about the animation is almost perfect, except for the CG, which makes some scenes quite jarring, as any zoomed out shots with a large character or many beasts likely will be computer generated. Then it switches to an up close shot which shows them drawn, then switches back to the zoomed out shot, making any scene with an abundance of CG uncomfortable to watch. An upside though is that it does get better as the show progresses, but still is noticeable. Other than that, the animation is what makes the show entertaining even if you don't care much for the story. For those that have played the game, you'll know that the characters are drawn by many different talented artists that make each character feel unique when on screen. However, translating that to the anime is almost impossible, leaving many of the unique designs to the wayside, giving each character a more generic look. Personally, I felt that many characters lost a lot of their touch when brought over to the anime. Gilgamesh didn't have as much of a stern feeling, and Leonidas didn't have as much of a battle-hardened look compared to reading through the story. Though if you come from the game, it may seem a bit jarring at first, but it's something that you get used to over time. For this show in particular, I will give it 2 ratings depending on whether you have read the previous story arcs, or if you're coming to the show with at least the knowledge of Fate Stay Night. If you are new to the Fate Grand Order story, I have to give this a 7, as it is still decent, especially as popcorn entertainment due to all the great action, but a lot of the story and character development is missed due to this adapting one of the later parts. But with the source material, this gets a 7.8, with the only underperforming part being the generic art style. Besides that, Cloverworks did an amazing job on this adaptation, filled with stunning, fluid animation, and enhanced my view of the original story. For the Fate series, I want to have a scale rating each of the Fate storylines as I review them, and the first one on this scale will be Babylonia, placing right here at the 7.8 mark, and I look forward to filling more as time goes on. If you're interested in this anime but don't want to devote hours into the mobile game, I highly recommend watching the hour-long OVA Fate Grand Order First Order that goes over the prologue of the game that sets up the story and the world to help you understand Babylonia better. You can find Fate Grand Order Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia on Funimation, Anime Lab, and Crunchyroll, but as of right now, Crunchyroll is a few episodes behind, so just keep that in mind. I'm currently working on another review which hopefully will be done by the end of next week. Thanks for watching, later.